being here with another Author Talk short with Russell. You guys know I can't get enough of Russell. I just love it. And our
That doesn't sound that good,
our
Amy.
lovely
That's
guest is Lynn.
doesn't sound that good.
Russell, you know I love to banter and just let you make fun of me. It's the highlight of my day. You know it. But our lovely guest is Lynn, and she is another author in the book, The Living True to You, Inspirational Stories of Self-Doubt, Self-Discovery, and Embracing Your Destiny. So, Lynn, welcome. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about my story.
Oh, anytime. We love doing this. This is fun for us. Russell had this idea to start Author Talk 7 years ago, and then a couple years ago to do the shorts and stuff like that. So Russell's just the genius behind it. And so we've 7 years, almost 8 going on. Hey,
Don't
Greg.
buy it, Lynn. Don't buy it. She runs
It's
everything.
the truth.
So,
I promise.
Lynn, tell everyone where you are right now, where you live. Tell us a great little short story about where you live that makes you love it.
Oh, I am in Melbourne. So I've been in Australia for over 35 years now, coming from Vietnam. That's where I originate from. So Melbourne is beautiful right now. You've just missed the rain, but we've been told that it's going to flood. And so it's been raining. And what do I love about Melbourne? I love the coffee shop, the culture here. It's beautiful. People are nice and the food is great. Yeah, the weather is unpredictable, but adds to the variety of life. So
Nice.
it is beautiful, Melbourne,
I need
yes.
to branch out. I haven't been there yet. But you guys, I believe down in Australia, you guys have really big bugs. Is this like the true statement that you have, like big bugs, or is that just like a fib?
Sorry, what do you mean by big?
No.
Bugs.
Yeah.
She's talking about
You're big
insects.
bugs.
Lynn.
Don't you have like big animals, like giant bats and like spiders and stuff? I see all these images and I believe them. Okay, I'm a sucker for online images, but it's one of the reasons I haven't gone there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't wanna see big bugs. I just don't.
What big bugs? Oh, when you hear about the snakes, they're very poisonous in Australia, and we've got. I haven't seen those. But, all I see is big personality. And, I think it will suit you just fine, Amy. You would love it here. We are open. We're very, we live true.
Yeah.
We dare to speak. We dare to, so you would love it here. Come down under.
Oh, well, I need to. It's on my bucket list, but the big, bugs and animals kept me away, but it is on my bucket list for sure. But I'd love to hear a little bit about your story and contribute to this anthology that you're in.
Yes, so the title of my story is called The Whisper of a Good Mother. So I guess you can guess that it's about, my journey of parenting. It's not everything about me, but it's my journey of parenting. And it wasn't until the gift of the kids that brought me back to myself. And so that's what I tell in the book. A little snippet about the journey that it's taken me through, thinking that life was one way and then realizing that it's not actually that way. So I don't know how much details you want to go in, but that's basically the gist of it. And then how I came out learning so much about myself and being able to, in the end, allow my children to live their life. They're, hoping that they will live true to themselves, to live their own path, their own journey. But if you have other questions around the details, I can go into that later. But it's just like a frame. That's the frame of the story I told in the book.
Yeah. See, yeah. I appreciate that because I have little kids. I have a 3 and a 2-year-old, right? And I was kind of, not thrown into parenting, but I kind of was because it was one of those I wasn't going to have children, and then I had 2 in 2 years. It was a wild adventure. And Russell always makes fun of me. He says it's like 2 going on 30 children. Yeah. But it's kind of one of those. For me, I have always felt like now I kind of have lost who I am because now I'm like in a mom role, right? And so it's kind of one of those, I don't know, I've lost that, but I don't want my kids to feel the same way, like lose themselves in like the family and stuff like that. But I think just from a parenting perspective, it's nice to kind of, it's refreshing for me, right? To kind of be like, let them be their own people and listen to the voice inside and everything, and really establish who you are, and then your kids associate and give them the flexibility to discover those things and stuff.
Yeah.
It's refreshing because there's hope for me, is what I'm saying. There's hope for me because I have 2 girls and they are giving me a run for my money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, I'm even gonna go hide in the closet,
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting you should say that you kind of fall into parenting, and I don't think any preparation can prepare you for parenting. So for anyone who's planned or unplanned, you will somehow at some point have kids and then feel like you actually fell into it. I had 4 years to plan for it. I was a teacher, and everyone around me said, Lynn, you're going to be a great great mom, la da da da. And when the kids came, during that point, I was totally challenged. What I thought wasn't what I was experiencing. And so, like you said too, the role, which was a huge aspect of the reason why I sort of lost my way and then found it again. And that's the recognition of the roles. But it's not as simple as, let your children live their life and be who they are. It's so easy. But in terms of
Lynn, how did you find your way? How did you find your way?
Oh my Lord. Well, I then will have to start from the beginning, Russell. So, I thought I had it. I thought I had it worked out, as in, I'm going to have children and this is going to be this way. And because I was really comfortable with my life, I must say, I was very content, as in I was working hard. I was a teacher. I was climbing the ladder in terms of the, in the teaching world. And then I have children and it was, it was the same in terms of, let's have good children. The word good already is vague, until you try and raise a child who is good. And what does that even mean? And so for me during that time, it was do well at school so you can love school, be good people so people love you, and therefore life will be easy. And as we go along, I discovered that my kids were capable, and that the potential you see in your children may if you're not aware, may just lead you down the path of, well, my path was that I saw the potential and I took it upon my responsibility to make sure they excel and they live their potential, and they did. We've got our scholarship and we've got our acceptance into special, into selected schools, all of that. And we were actually do well. And we thought, how about have some, what is it, inheritance for the kids? And we did all that. And when we got there, that was when I never, ever felt that empty before. When you reach a certain stage and you feel so empty. And I think that I call it the whisper of the good mother, because there is that inner knowing where, it speaks to you that, hang on, something is not quite right on that journey. People say it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it was the journey of doing it, of reaching it, that I found that I've lost my way in terms of I was very cranky. I was always time poor. I didn't have time for other people. I didn't have time for myself. I wasn't speaking nicely to my husband. He'd come home and I'm like immediately say, tell him all the things that's going wrong and how the kids are making me da 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 da. And it was just one thing after another. And so I saw that I wasn't the person that I am proud of. And that was when I realized, hang on, something's not right here. And then when I look at my children, do they look happy? They were happy in terms of their achievement, and they feel good about themselves because we put the value on those things. And of course, it's great. I'm not saying that, those things are not important, but they didn't look happy. They, it was more, I felt from my eldest that without me, he couldn't have those. And I mean, that's sort of fine, but for him to feel that he didn't own his achievements was something for me to it sort of raised it put a question, somewhere for me to think about, that hang on, if it's his work and he doesn't feel that he owns it, then do I own it? Like, is that for me? Is that for him? But there's a lot of work, a lot of work from my end, a lot of work from their end, and yet no one looks at it and feel like they own it. And so that was when so for Russell's, now the answer is through asking questions and through learning. So that's when I said, look, I'm going to stop. Everyone, you keep going, because I don't know where this is leading us, but I must stop, because I am not nice. I am not a nice person right now. And I'm not sure whether I know how to lead you on this journey. So you keep going and I will stop. And that's when I started to read books. And I came across Brene Brown, and it was about daring greatly. And it says something along the lines of, in terms of how daring am I? Am I daring? I tell my kids to go out there and experience the world and, live your life and say yes. And what am I doing? 9 years, by that point, I was, I've had 5 years, at least 5 years at home. And I wasn't doing anything, apart from getting them to achieve what we think was what they want, the potential, reaching their potential. So that was when I said, look, maybe if I live daringly, then they will get to live daringly. I don't have to teach them. I don't have to, maybe I need to live my life. So through learning, Russell, lots and lots of reading, lots of courses, and I got my own coach. And it was just a journey of learning about myself. And I gave myself that chance to just learn, rather than to be the know-it-all, to be the person who knows it and to lead the kids. And I must always know I am responsible to. This is the biggest thing for me. This was the biggest thing for me that I could not rest with, is that I must provide the opportunities. I must provide my children with opportunities and help them reach their potentials. The weight of that, on me, where because of that, I didn't let my children to reach their own potential, to have their own path and their own journey. And that is how I find my way. And it's still a journey. We're on it together, and it's wonderful now that my kids get to watch me stumble and make my own mistake and go out there and try daringly and watch me shiver in fear when I have to do something that is out of my comfort zone. And they get to be there and experience and watch me do that. And it gives them permission to make their own mistakes and have fear as well, accept and own their fears.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening your book so much for us. I mean, you just opened your life to us. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. No, thank you for your question.
No, I love that, because I think, especially now, like, my kids are so little, right? They're like a sponge. They absorb so much. And so I think by kind of setting that example and not being afraid to go and do things and stuff like that, right, then they won't be afraid to do things and stuff. And so it's like keeping that mindset that they're just sponges, right? And they just absorb everything. And I'm such a visual person that, like, if that works for me, mom's gonna go do this. I'm not gonna go jump off a cliff, because that's not my thing. But if you want to, I will cheer you on. But I'm not gonna do it. Like those kind of things. But I think it's almost like I don't know. I guess the way it sounds like is it's almost like not a monkey see, monkey do, but we see that, and then we know that it's okay to be adventurous and to do that because mom's doing it, right? I always feel like the mom sets the precedent for those things, right? Because we're kind of the shield for our children, right? We always want to protect our children and kind of be the shield for them. And so, I mean, that's how I see it, right? So that's how it resonates with me, because it's like, okay, well, I'm not completely failing by, letting my daughter just play in dirt or experience things and being like, it's okay. Like, she's just going to be fine, like that brings me comfort, Lynn. It brings me such comfort to know that. So I'm excited to read your story. And I think it's amazing. So the book that you're a part of is actually, I know that you guys are a bestseller down in Australia, but you guys are also a bestseller and #1 here in the States. So you guys are also international bestsellers, which is a big accomplishment in and of itself. I know that me and Russell would love to know what is next for you, Lynn? Are you going to write another book? Are you going to expand on this story? What's next for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. You can see my little baby there. He's not little, he's very big. Okay. What is next for me? Yes. I've just, if you can just give me one more, I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
You should listen to him, Lynn. He's talking to you, and it's clear what he's saying.
I love it. He wants to go outside.
Let him out. He was clear what he wants.
I love it. Lynn, we have had my daughters banging on the door, my dog's at the door, so please, it is just fine. That is how we roll on this show. So it's just fine.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Lynn, before we go, please, would you tell us the name of the book again? Because we still haven't actually mentioned the name of your book and where they can find it.
So it's called Living True to You. That's the title of the book. My chapter is The Whisper of a Good Mother. And it's on Amazon. So, yeah. and like Amy just said, it's made bestseller. And so we're very thankful. Where am I going next with it is, I've just judged over 40 books. So being a judge of the 40 books, and what the experience of that. And then we got to interview each author, and then got to hear them speak on stage. And then we had the gala where they launched their books. And it's such an inspirational experience. And I would like to write my own book. And I think in there, I would like to add in not just the story, but through my story, share some of the, I guess, the little tools, some tools and aspects of parenting. It's complicated, but it's not, let's say, difficult. I think it's, there are pathways, and there are, we can actually see the picture. Because sometimes in parenting, you can get a little bit lost as to where to go and what to teach, what is important. Everything is important, but then got to let them live their life. It's kind of confusing that way with the messages out there. And that's where I am right now. I think I would do with my story, weaving in the lessons and how and the roadmaps. So that's where I'm going with that. Amy.
Oh, I love it. You will have to keep me updated on when that becomes available so I can purchase it 100%. But you guys, we will be back with another Author Talk Short for another author from this amazing collection of stories on Friday at 4 p.m. But until then, you guys, Lynn, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to come and talk with us and to tell us about your chapter. I'm excited to see where you go and for new books to come from you. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Russell.
Bye, everybody.